What's up, internet? My name's Ori. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. You like this video, hit that like button, hit the notification bell. You'll never miss a video, you never miss a stream. Today is Sunday, September 3rd, day number 33 inside the Big Brother house. I'm sure all of you regular people who watch my videos are already like, Ori, what's going on? What's happening? Another one of those days. We got something that we got to talk about that I hate talking about. And that's when house guests are idiots and they do dumb stuff that shouldn't be done. And then we have to come and talk about it because Big Brother doesn't do what they need to do to handle it right. And then we have to then sit here and discuss it and try and do it like adults. And yeah, let's jump into it. First off, today was the veto day and kind of all hell broke loose. But there's two kind of big elephants in the room that I want to talk about before we get into the game stuff, because if I don't get it out of the way, like, I'm just going to be like this the whole video, and I'd rather kind of tell you about some of the funny stuff that did happen to try and lift your mood, because that's going to help me enjoy this a little bit more as well. But I guess let's start off with Jared and his, what do you even call it, other than use of a derogatory term? He used the R word. It didn't happen on feeds. What we did see was him admitting to Cory that he said it about America and that he shouldn't have said it. He slipped up. He doesn't think she's the R word. And it doesn't seem to have been addressed by the show at all. It seems like this is going to kind of get swept under the rug. And the big issue is we got over Tom here, and it seemed like Big Brother was going in this new step of direction. Hey, zero tolerance. Something messed up gets said in the house. Something messed up gets done in the house. They're out of there. But now it seems like it's not zero tolerance. And what they've done is they've now gone down that slippery slope that I talked about when the whole Tom thing happened. And again, Tom up here, I always see a lot of people, oh, who's Tom? Tom's there because we need to acknowledge that there was a 17th house guest, but he does not get to have his name and picture shown up there anymore. I was one who really tried to say, hey, listen, he messed up, but I don't think he's a bad person. And I think he can be redeemed from this. He's yet to show that. In fact, the only thing I've ever seen from him outside the house was one appearance on a podcast. I won't tell you what podcast it was. You can probably find it if you really want to. But let's just say one of the hosts on that podcast ended up using the word right in front of him as well. And he basically just doubled down saying like, oh, it wasn't that bad. Where he could have gone and said, hey, you know what? I messed up. I should have done better. I need to apologize for this. Take accountability for it. And he has not done so. So that's why Tom's up there. A lot of people are always, oh, why is he up there? It's because of that. But I do strongly think that we don't need to go and get pitchforks and go after everybody every time they make a mistake inside the house if they show the right remorse. But when you've already established a zero tolerance policy for derogatory terms, you need to stick to zero tolerance. Because again, now you start saying some things are worse than others. And where is that line? How about if somebody says something homophobic? What if somebody says something about somebody's religion? Is it just because this religion term is more offensive than the other one? Is it because this didn't happen on feeds? Like, we need some clarification on what the policy is. And not only for us, for future house guests as well. Because at this point, we're going to lose the feed soon. It's like, it's over. Canada's already done it. They got rid of it. I don't see them coming back anytime soon. They're going to probably continue with these digital dailies, and that's all we'll get. Anybody who is not aware, Big Brother Canada, this past season, completely got rid of live feeds, and they dropped the news on us like a week before the new season and said, hey, guess what? We got this new thing called digital dailies. You're going to get hours of content a day. Don't worry, you're still going to get all that good game talk. They were the worst thing ever. They were about 2 hours every day, sometimes less than, most of which were just terrible, boring stuff that we didn't want to see. every time a good convo would happen, we'd get like 5 seconds of it, they'd turn to something else. It was like watching the feeds on a boring day to the max, and it was terrible. If we keep going down this road of, oh, you know, some things are bad, some things aren't, people are getting kicked out for some things, but other people are getting to stay, there's just going to be more and more issues. On top of that, one of the things I try and preach here too on this channel is this kill them with kindness type of thing, being positive about stuff even when a negative happens, and not trying to be toxic with people, and again, getting those pitchforks and going after somebody when they make a mistake. Because I do believe that you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? Just because something is no longer good and something is done wrong doesn't mean the person who did it is also unredeemable. It can be fixed. They need to learn a lesson. Kind of how I feel with Jared. Is he just terrible with his opinions? Absolutely. But I don't think he's a bad person. I just think he needs to be taught a lesson. One of the things that we also need to discuss is sexism and misogyny. A big thing that he's been kind of having talked about him is how he thinks about women and how he talks about women. And yes, he's also said, like, I used to think of them only as items. But the key part for me there was used to, but then he kept continuing to go down this terrible path and just more awful concepts and ideas that he has about relationships and the like. So it got very hard to even be like, okay, well, he just needs to be taught better. Because he had a mom like Cirie. Like, he should know. He should know. With, like, if you need a better example of a strong female, like, I don't know where you're going to get one. So I don't know. It's just so tough because I love this show and I love what it can be. But we keep getting these issues that are coming up, and I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to enjoy what we enjoy. So it's a thing. It's a thing, and I want to know from you guys, what are you thinking? Let me know in those comments down below. Other than that, let's jump into everything else that kind of happened. I just kind of wanted to get all of that out of the way right off the start, because again, I don't know if I really could have gotten through this very easily without just addressing it right off the top like that. So let's jump into what actually happened on the live feeds yesterday. Again, a lot of that was going on. Oh, you know what? I didn't even really talk about the America Cameron thing. So this has been going on as well, where America and Cameron, we talked about it yesterday, with something that was being alluded to. Feeds kept cutting. We got more stuff from that today, where pretty much there is some kind of sexual harassment that's going on to the point of where Cameron is just saying things, I guess, that are making America uncomfortable. But it feels like America doesn't want to make that much of a big deal about it, right? Where it's like, maybe she's being asked, like, hey, is this really an issue? And she's kind of playing it off as like, no, like, it's fine. Like, it sucks, but it's fine, right? Like, I don't think she's trying to get Cameron kicked out in that way. So what's making this tough now is because of that, it feels like everyone's then saying, well, she's working with Cameron. That's clear. And she's using this for gain. And it feels like they're just basically victim blaming her for feeling uncomfortable about something. And again, maybe Cameron's not even really doing anything that's like that. We haven't seen it, right? Like, we're just hearing about stuff. And that's another tough issue, is where we're just kind of hearing about stuff. But at the very least, it is seemingly making America uncomfortable, and her feelings are valid in that. And now everyone's just kind of dismissing it, even to the point of saying that she's working with him, when he's also trying to get her on the block this week. It just doesn't make any sense. And it was a really infuriating day on that aspect. But then there was all the madness that kind of went around, just like the game stuff. Those were just like little things that were sprinkled in, but there was tons of actual like game things that were going on that were just hell breaking loose, that are just the normal in this house, because that's how they are. So it was veto day, and America Felicia and Matt were picked to join Cam, Red, and Jared in the veto competition. This is kind of when the R word stuff came about. I don't know when exactly it was said. Again, it was off feeds. It could have been like after she was picked and he said it just to Cory. He might have said it to America, but I don't know exactly when it all take place. But when we came back from the veto picks, Cory and Jared were actually in a big argument. He was literally standing over top of Jared being like, you're being dumb. Like, why are you coming to me saying like we have to get rid of America now and she's throwing competitions? Like, if she won HOH, you're fine. She's not coming after you. It doesn't make any sense what you're doing. He's got a point. He's got a point because America wouldn't put up Jared. Might put up Cirie and Felicia, but more than likely she would have just put up Red and Bowie this week if she was HOH. And then if Cameron's now staying, she would put him up in one of the following weeks. It's so infuriating. Anyway, he basically was saying like, oh, she was saying she wouldn't put him up. But she was saying she wouldn't put Cameron up last week, not last week, but before this, she was saying that if she was HOH, she would put up Red and Bowie with Cameron as the back door because she wouldn't want Cameron to win the veto, which, let's just say it, Cameron won veto. So she was right. That would have been the better play. But now people are using that as the idea that, oh, she wanted to keep Cameron off the block. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Again, it's just been absolute wild. Cory vented to Izzy about it, and she was actually saying, well, like, I just think America might like gossip, right? It's like, it's not fun anymore. We're not having fun, people. Yeah. Anyway, it seems like now, okay, the renom will be America. Everyone's talking about how America's got to be the one to go up. She's hearing all this stuff. It's making its way around the house. Cirie, Izzy, and Jared, they all thought that Jag and America were good options for the renom even before the veto. And then Cirie was more on like it should be Jag's side. Izzy was more on the Jared America side. Again, none of this really made sense to me because Jag was just saved by Matt. Matt's super close to you. I would have assumed that Matt had told you he was using the power. It doesn't make any sense that he wouldn't have told Cirie that he was using the power. So now you're then going to get Jag out of the house, even though Matt will then think, well, wait a minute, I just saved him. You made me waste my power. So is that going to break your relationship with Matt? Like, how's that going to work out for you? America, again, yeah, she might be coming for you, and it probably is the better move for you at this point to get her out. But the reasoning behind it is so flawed. It's just, it's wild. It's absolutely wild. The veto itself was tiny veto. And after the veto came back, Felicia actually tried to tell Cameron, hey, why don't you use it on Red as like a birthday gift? And he was like, I don't think I'll do that. But America, she's perfectly fine. She can go up. Anyone who goes up against Red's gonna be leaving. So we could put America up and she can leave. Great. Again, why do people think that America's working with Cameron? I don't understand. Felicia, speaking of her, then goes into the bathroom and is having a chat with Jag, America, and Mimi, kind of telling them about the whole story about her trying to get him to use the veto on Red. And then she just pretty much splits out, oh yeah, he was saying we were going to have the numbers anyway, you know, with Legend 8 and all that kind of stuff. We were going to have plenty of numbers. If you guys aren't aware, we can pull up our alliance chart from last week. I haven't done this week's yet. I like to do that after the veto ceremony because things change. I almost guarantee something's going to change today on the feeds. If you look at the Legend 25, that alliance has Cirie, Izzy, Felicia, Cameron, Red, Matt, Bowie, Mimi. There's no Jag in that alliance. There's no America in that alliance. And she pretty much name dropped it. She said the Legend 8. Mimi like full on like took a step back. She was like, what? America was just eyeballing Jag. She's like, did you just hear this? which they totally caught it. They ended up having the conversation afterwards about it, being like, so she just had an alliance. That was, I guess, an alliance. It was Izzy, Cirie, and they pretty much listed it out. They were like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Mimi told Izzy about this, and they actually kind of both had a talk with Felicia, who they were like, you need to be more careful. He's like, I don't care if she knows. It's like, yeah, but we care if she knows, right? Like, you might not care, but we do. Also, again, we kind of wondered, why is, everybody pushing America so hard? Well, maybe Jared's pushing America so hard because he had a doctor's appointment, and at his doctor's appointment, they kept saying, oh, America, 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 asking him tons of questions about America. You guys might be asking, what do you mean a doctor's appointment? When did he have a doctor's appointment? Doctor's appointment is just a code for diary room, DR, doctor. And apparently they've been pushing America, or at the very least, asking a lot of leading questions, making Jared think that America should be the renom. Again, what is going on in this house right now? Cory, I guess in an attempt to try and take some heat off of America, or at the very least gain trust with them, decided to tell Izzy, Cirie, and Felicia, or not Felicia, Jared, about his brother. They all were just like, oh, interesting. There was kind of a funny thing later when Cirie and Felicia were talking about it, or Cirie and Izzy were talking about it, where Cirie's like, well, maybe everybody's related to somebody in here. Maybe Cameron was right. And Felicia's related to Denzel Washington. And Izzy's like, I'm not related to anybody. And she's like, oh, you're related to us. You're Fields now. So that was kind of funny. Izzy Fields, fully canon in the Big Brother house. Some other things, we eventually then got America talking to Jared, and it seemed like things kind of settled back down because she talked about how, I walked into a room and it seemed like they were counting numbers for me to get out, and it just all seemed like it was like, because it felt like that conversation was going to turn into kind of a blow up, but both of them were pretty good about it. America obviously just really confused. Blue was there, which kind of helped as well for some of it, and then she ended up leaving. Which Cirie actually kind of scolded Jared on. She's like, she shouldn't be here for any of your meetings. It's called a one-on-one for a reason. But I think her being there was actually probably good in this situation. And again, it seemed like everything kind of settled down because Cirie was kind of like, listen, if all of this is happening, probably the safest bet would be to put Bowie up. That way we just send Red out. Like, he'll be a lot more calm because he knows he'll be going home when he's up against somebody like Bowie. It makes it way easier on Jared because he's just putting Bowie up and he doesn't really have that great of connection with her anyway. Whereas if he puts up America, that stresses out his relationship with Cory. It makes everything just kind of crazy. There's also the potential option that Matt, who actually volunteered, I think I mentioned that on yesterday's update as well, to be a pawn, but I forget if I did or not. That was all part of these people are not serious conversation. So yeah, there was a potential plan where it was going to be Bowie or Matt, and it seemed like that was going to be what we were going to have going forward, because we also had a meeting of the 7 deadly sins kind of going together, and they all thought that, Bowie would be kind of the best option. But while that meeting was happening, there was a meeting with the Chillers, good old Red and Cameron out in the hot tub. And basically, Red broke up with Cameron. It was like super sad. Like, Red couldn't even look at him. He was like looking over to the side. He was just all like upset. And Cameron's like, "What? Like, what's going on, my guy? Like, what's up?" And he's like, "You should know." He's like, "I don't know what's going on. Like, what is happening?" And he's like, "You should. He's like, what? Red's like, "I think, it's kind of serendipitous that we're sitting here in this hot tub where the Chillers formed, and I think it's time to put them on ice." What? I said yesterday that, like, maybe these people are paid actors. Like, it really feels like that sometimes at this point, because you can't write this stuff. You really can't. Cameron's just completely confused, doesn't understand. Red talks about how he's been telling people lots of stuff, and Cameron's like, all right, man, I'm gonna give you some time. Hopefully I'll talk to you later. Again, he heads inside, but Seven Deadly Sins, they're having their meeting upstairs. So he's starting to head on upstairs, and they're like, oh no. So they all hide in the bathroom. He doesn't come in, but Matt actually goes out to kind of distract them while they all kind of sneak out. Cameron actually then worried about Red to Matt, and he's like, so like, what's going on? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is, he just like had this moment with me out in the hot tub. Like, I don't know what's happening. But then he ends up kind of game-splaining to Matt about what's happening, saying that he's working with Jared and they got something going on, and I can't tell you everything, but when it happens, you're going to know who to come to, and just be aware. He's not telling you either, but you're in good with him. And Cameron is just completely delusional. He thinks he completely understands what's going on in this game sometimes, even though at this point, Matt knows way more than Cameron does. He then, Cameron went and did his little pitch about putting Izzy up as the replacement nominee, and then going even further about how, you know, next week they should really look at Cirie and Felicia as the possible targets. Jared then filled in Felicia, who then went and told everyone down in the comics room, including Izzy, Felicia, Izzy, Cirie, Bowie, Red, and all of them. Well, really, it was because of Felicia saying this. She's like, we should put up Jag. Jag goes, then Cameron out next week. And it's like, okay, again, if you put up Jag, how's that going to work out with Cirie and Matt and that whole situation? Because Matt's going to be like, we just saved Jag. Now you're going to end up sending him back out again? This might just even solidify to them, like, oh yeah, there is something else going on other than this Seven Deadly Sins thing. And it's just a complete mess. This house, again, it's just always a complete mess. This would have been a really fun day had it not been for the two big things that we talked about in the beginning of this update. And I'm exhausted. I'm really exhausted. There's an episode tonight. We'll see the HOH kind of play out and how all that went down. There was actually a picture posted by Turner showing one of the pictures of how they were going to do the competition. It's like one of those like spot the differences thing. Can I set this up real quick? I'm not even going to edit this out of the video here of just me going and be like, all right, let me set this up. I want to show you guys something fun. Like, it's been one of those days where it's like, hey, maybe I can at least show you something interesting here. Because Turner posted this on Twitter as kind of like a sneak peek of what the competition's going to look like tonight. So if I can get this to work, let's see. We're just going to vamp here as I'm doing this. Don't worry, guys. It's going to be up for in just a second or two here. If I do that, then need to get rid of this. We'll put this up here for you guys. Trust me, I guess it's going to be worth it. It's, in the long run, this will be something you'll want to see, I'm sure. Let's see here. Can I turn this on? There we go. And then if I do this, boom, here's the picture. Let me zoom out a little bit. This is what it looks like here. They're going to do kind of a little homage to last season. I'm sure there's going to be other ones with different house guests as well. But you got Turner and Jasmine. There's the Muffins all up in there as well. So this will be kind of a fun little competition. It's the knockout style one as well. So that should have shown a lot of cards. I don't know if anybody really caught on to a lot of that. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. I'm perturbed. I just, I don't know. I don't like all this, and I hate when we have to deal with it, because this show should be fun, and it's not being fun when we've got stuff like this that we have to deal with, and talk about, and I don't know what we're gonna do going forward. So yeah, cheer me up, because I know I usually help you guys out a lot. hit that like button, hit that notification bell. If you're new here, subscribe. I didn't even do that right. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. I don't know. I don't know anymore, guys. I really don't. Yeah. It was a rough day. It was a rough day as a Big Brother fan. Because this is just all so much. So much. Thank you guys again so much for watching. And I will see you next time.